The tire, if you get 33 1250s, they'll be half an inch wider. And
He
they'll
doesn't
be
have his headset on.
Oh, fucking bitch. Ooh, I'm tired.
Tired.
I've been working a lot, dude.
My hair, like, it's really curly when it rains. So, like, it does the same shit to my beard. Like, it's already curly most of the time, but, like, it really fucking, like, poofs. Alright, you boys
Anyway,
ready to go?
yeah, I'm ready. They'll be half an inch wider, but they'll be the same height.
I don't know.
And with the wider tire, man, I'll tell you, look good.
I still got plenty of tread on mine for now, so.
Oh yeah, I mean, you're looking at spending like $1,200 on tires for it.
Yep.
All right, go ahead, Zach. Let's start it.
Hey guys, welcome to the Dark Sky Gaming
Darksky.
Podcast.
Darksky.
And yeah, today's episode is gonna be another genre-based episode, and today we're doing horror games. So yeah. Anyways, so yeah, horror games. But last week's episode, if you didn't catch it, was Battle Royale, and that was an interesting one. It was our first time doing this with the Discord thing, our social distancing podcast episodes. It was our first one of those, so go back and check that out if you haven't already checked it out. But yeah, for now, this time, horror games, and we're doing it at a pretty good time because here a couple weeks, several months ago, probably a few months ago at least, I thought of doing horror games in October because of Halloween. But then I thought, you know what? I don't do a paranormal podcast like I wanted to do a long time ago. So around Halloween time, we could always do something where we just talk about scary stories, talk about paranormal things and stuff, kind of lean off, I guess, as hardcore on the normal type stuff. But so we've timed it well, even though it wasn't my idea. Bearded Moores, it was his idea to do horror games on this episode, and we kind of timed it well without meaning to time it well, because Resident Evil 3 Remake is coming out soon. Is it already out? No, it's just coming out soon, I think. But yeah, so it's kind of good timing. New Amnesia game just got announced recently.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Amnesia.
Which is like Amnesia's like almost top of the tower in horror games, at least. So like they have their classics and now they're coming back to try to reign supreme now, I guess. So we've timed it pretty well. I don't think any of us really meant to time it well, but we did. So I'm okay with it. So we're doing horror games. And just, I guess to start, do you guys like scary things, scary movies, scary books, stories, anything like that?
Yes.
Yeah. I like it.
Scary movies are my favorite.
You like scary movies? What I guess
the first scary movie I watched was, well, the first one I can like vividly remember was when I was younger. And me, my dad, and my sister made a pallet in the living room and watched Darkness Falls.
Darkness Falls?
You never seen Darkness Falls?
I don't guess so.
It's about the Tooth Fairy.
That one is fucking great. Can't be in the
Yes.
dark.
What?
I don't guess I've ever seen Darkness
You have to
Falls.
stay in the light, right?
Wait, why'd you say camping in the dark?
I didn't say anything about camping in the dark.
Can't
Stay-
be in the
yeah,
dark. I
can't
thought
be-
you said camping. I was like, what the fuck does that have to do with anything? Yeah.
It's a
So
fucking-
it's about this. It's about the Tooth Fairy, and the Tooth Fairy's like this evil person. and you don't leave your tooth underneath your pillow. You leave it like on your bed, on your like stool, or on your like nightstand, whatever dresser. Leave it out, because if you see her, she'll kill you. And if she don't kill you, she'll pretty much haunt you for the rest of your life until she kills you. And so it's about this kid who, when he was like 13, 14, 15, something like that, when he's younger, he lost a tooth, set it on his nightstand. Well, this girl snuck into his room, and she's like, "Oh, you're supposed to put this under your pillow." So she puts it under his pillow. Well, the tooth fairy came to get it, and he saw her, and the tooth fairy can't be in the light or she'll die. So he ran into the bathroom and turned the light on, and his mom went into the bedroom and ends up fucking just taking her out. And so for the rest of his life, he carried around like 50 flashlights with him, never got in the dark or never nothing, and it's just about him fucking getting haunted by the tooth fairy for like till he's like fucking 30.
That sounds like one of those kind of silly, scary movies.
No, it's legit, bro.
Oh, really?
That's good.
Yeah, I mean it's like a legit movie. Like it's not like
I'll watch it again.
it's not like a cute looking tooth fairy. Like it's a fucking
well, I didn't
demon
figure.
thing, and like it's a legit movie. It ain't like a small movie, like low budget. Like it's legit. It's pretty good. I remember watching that and just like sitting there on that little pallet with my eyes open, not wanting to go to sleep because I'm like, fuck, dude, I'm just like kind of scared as shit right now.
See, I don't know, except for like when my brother would scare me when we used to watch scary movies back in the day when I was a kid. He would scare me and creep me out with like the subject material of movies and stuff like that. But movies themselves, for a long time, have just not really had much of an effect on me. Nowadays, it seems like I've watched a lot of scary movies. Like Paranormal Activity came out, and I was hyped as hell because I thought Paranormal Activity was supposed to be the super fucking ultra scary movie. People were getting terrified in theaters and on the trailers or commercials and stuff on TV. They had like
yeah, it's like the
recorded
night vision
audience and
camera and
stuff.
shit.
Yeah, and it's crazy because I saw it. I watched it alone in the dark. We started. The first time I watched it, I wasn't alone necessarily at first. We started it like late night, and then we all fell asleep watching it. The next day, I was at Kyler's house. He had chores or some shit to do, so I was sitting in his room. I start watching Paranormal Activity, and I watched the whole thing pretty much by myself. I don't know. It just didn't really scare me, and from then on, I was like, man, I gotta find a scary movie that scares me, because I like to get scared. I play plenty of scary video games that scare the hell out of me. Like, I can get scared on a video game from nothing. Like, just the music, just scares me. And they try to do that in movies and stuff, but they just don't get me. So, I don't know, man. I guess I prefer scary video games and stuff over scary movies. But what do you like? What's your go-to scary movie, Simphus? Like, what's the first one you think of when we talk about scary movies?
I think one of my first ones was Jeepers Creepers.
Jeepers Creepers. Yeah.
That was an interesting one.
Have you seen the sequel?
Yeah, I've watched all of them. I mean, they're good. I liked them.
I don't know.
Where'd you get those eyes?
There was a kid in our grade back in elementary school when I think maybe Jeepers Creepers 2 had come out. And he wanted to, like, that was his go-to, like, pretend game to play outside was Jeepers Creepers. And at one point we had, like, the whole class, like, the whole grade outside playing Jeepers Creepers. And
how the fuck do you play Jeepers Creepers?
It had nothing to do with the actual movie. Like, basically, he got to be Jeepers Creepers and the rest of us tried to fight him off, and there was no way for us to win. He was one of those kids.
Oh, he's like, oh, I hit you. Oh, I block it. Break your arm. Bite your neck. You're dead.
Yeah, exactly. And he would throw those fucking, like, tooth
Fireball, fireball, fireball.
God damn it.
Lightning bolt.
But
Fucking
yeah.
great.
So, but I watched Jeepers Creepers when I was younger, and I've seen the other ones now, and I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the first one. I really liked, but the second and third I didn't really care for too much. The second one kind of creeped me out a little bit, though. I'll give it that, because right there at the end when he opens his eyes, at the end of number 2, when you think he's dead, hanging up on that barn wall or whatever, and he just he just opens his eyes. That creeped me out a little bit, but I don't know. I think it was more just because the eyes looked way too human right then, so I was like, oh.
Yeah.
But
I haven't watched those in a while. I remember going over to Buddy's house and there's like fucking, how many of them are there? Like 4 of them?
I think just 3.
Oh, there's a few of them. I remember watching like all of them in one day.
Yeah, I think the third
Nothing
one
really.
just came out a couple
There's
years
not
ago.
much that scares me anymore, just because I know it's all not real.
Yeah.
And so everything I'm just like, yeah, it's kind of like no big deal. But I remember recently, I watched, I told y'all about this, watching Midsomner,
Oh yeah, Midsummer.
and I watched it and it's not, I don't think it's really intended to be like a really scary movie.
It's a psychological thriller.
But yeah, I mean, but just because it's like a big cult thing, I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
this shit like can actually happen and probably does happen out there somewhere.
Yeah, for sure.
I was like, dude, this kind of fucking freaks me out.
Yeah, that's definitely. Those types of movies in general are just scary in that way that they're not scary, like jump scares and stuff like that. They're scary because they make you think. That's why they're called psychological horror. They make you think, holy shit, this is probably happening. Like this is.
Yeah, this
something
is
that
like
could
this
happen.
is that's the only thing that can really scare me anymore.
Yeah.
Is just to be, this shit fucking happens. And,
Yeah. Kyler, my ex roommate, his like the one thing I ever remember him talking about scary movies and stuff is he gets more scared watching like ghost and alien movies and stuff like that because I believe, and I could be getting this wrong, but he pretty much thinks in the way of if it's a human killer, there's still a chance I could kill him or beat him. Like there's always a chance I could still win that. If it's a ghost or an alien, that kind of stuff scares him a lot more because there's no way he can fight that off. There's no way to hit it. You can't punch a ghost, So,
I say one that creeped me out a little bit was we decided to watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Mhm.
And I was like, wow, that was a pretty good movie. Then all of a sudden it says like based on a true story. I was like, huh.
Based on Ed Gein.
Wait a minute.
Mm.
It's like when they pop up the words like based on like real events, I was like,
Yeah.
okay.
yeah, I remember there's 2 movies that I can, if y'all have ever seen The Descent.
Yeah.
Those 2 are pretty good. Kind of, jump scares, scary movies.
Yeah.
And then I remember when I was probably 11, 12, maybe 13. I watched when One Missed Call came out.
I've never
Did
seen
you ever
it.
watch that one? Like you get a call from a random number that you don't know. I think. if this
Oh
is
yeah,
right,
okay, yeah.
When
I
you
think I
hear
know
it,
it.
it's like the sound of you dying.
Yeah. Okay,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
I know that. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. That one kind of freaked me out. There's like this demon baby on there that was like.
Yeah.
that one, I was like, fuck, dude, that thing's scary looking.
See, there's a lot of things in scary movies that tend to make me laugh a lot. Like, something really common in scary movies is for people to fucking smack their head against a wall or a window or something and, like, imply that they're just not there mentally anymore. And I think that's so stupid. I hate that. There's a movie, what is it called? I don't want to, like, name drop myself here, but I think it's called, like, Dark Skies or something like that. It's an alien movie, but I think it is called Dark Skies. And at one point, someone's like hypnotized or something, and they're like sitting there banging their head on this like glass door, and everyone was like, oh, and I was sitting there just laughing. Hashtag plug. I was fucking sitting there laughing my ass off because I was like, that's not scary. That woman killing herself on that window is not scary to me. If I saw it in real life, maybe. And I guess that's the general idea of horror movies and scary movies and stuff is for you to be watching something that could happen, and that's why it's scary. But I've never been able to put myself in that position, and I think that's part of it, and that's why horror games scare me so much, because you are that character. Whatever you do impacts whether that character gets caught, whether they die. On top of that, you're already immersed into the video game by sights and sounds and moving and stuff. So, I don't know. The horror experience just doesn't really connect with me in a horror movie versus a video game. Paranormal Activity almost ruined the future of horror films. Everything became almost purely jump scare based, and I end up playing Where's Waldo with jump scares instead of enjoying the film. It's Darksky. It is Darksky.
Yeah, you just kind of guess, like, oh, yeah. When's it going to jump out?
And another thing that ruined, I think, movies after Paranormal Activity is because Paranormal Activity came out, and at the end of it, it says, based on true events. And in the trailers, it says, based on true events. They ruined it because that's when everyone figured out, everyone I know at least, figured out, wait a second, based on true events can literally be based on a guy's story that lasted 2 minutes. Like, I could go tell a movie producer and not know it's a movie producer or something and be like, oh, yeah. So I thought someone was trying to break into my house the other night. The doorknob rattled and I opened the door and there was no one there. And that's the end of my story. And then he can take that and say, based on true events.
Yeah, literally just put that one part in a movie.
Yeah.
To have a whole movie.
Exactly. And I think Paranormal Activity fucked it on that because they said that. And spoiler alert, Paranormal Activity isn't based on any one specific horror case or paranormal case that happened in the U.S. It's based on paranormal cases. The fact that they exist. That's it. That's all it's based on.
Yeah.
And they fucking ran with the idea of it being based on a true story, or based on true... Like, it's scary.
Just like the Blair Witch Project.
Exactly. It's scary when you think to yourself that it's based on a true story. Like, once in a while you hear The Conjuring or something like that come out and you're like, oh man, that's based on a true story that I can look up and read about and everything. That's pretty crazy. But then when you start running into Paranormal Activity and stuff like that, you start like, it says it's based on scary stories, not a story.
Remember, The Conjuring came out in the 80s, 70s, 80s, something like that.
Oh, I was talking about the new one. I forgot there was no one.
Well, when the first one came out in the movie theaters, people were like flipping the fuck out.
Yeah,
like,
they did that with this new one.
If you've ever looked at anything, huh?
They did that with this new one too. Apparently, a lot of people thought it was scary.
No, I mean like people a lot of people were like getting sick and throwing up, leaving the theater. Like I mean, it was bad.
You talking about Exorcist?
Maybe that's what it was. Maybe it was The Exorcist. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. I don't know. Bringing up Conjuring, though, makes me want to go on a tangent of I'm just going to put this out there. Fuck. What's their last name? The Warrens? Are they the scary guys that The Conjuring is based on? The paranormal people?
Got no clue, honestly.
I think it's them. Either way, that's very well known that people have come out after. They're the ones that did Annabelle, investigated Annabelle and Conjuring and all that stuff. The Warrens, yeah. Fuck them, because a lot of people have come out in recent years and in the past, basically being like, well, they made us say that stuff to the cops just because they had this on us or they paid us to say this or whatever, but we don't actually care. And I hate it because that they also investigated Amityville and all these other places. So places maybe with a little credibility. Now, you don't know. You don't know if they're actually haunted or not.
Show, and which I know it's a movie, it's all fake. But isn't it Paranormal Activity where it shows them talking to that Hispanic gardener dude who hardly speaks any English, and it shows them paying him $20 just to be like, hey, say there's a ghost over there. and then they video, and he's like, "Oh yeah, there's a ghost over there. I
I
saw him
don't
right
know.
there."
You might be talking about that parody movie. Of,
No, this wasn't a parody movie.
Oh, it was an actual scary movie. I don't know.
Yeah,
I thought
it was like a legit.
I thought you were
It
talking
was a
because
legit thing about this dude, and they like.
Yeah.
Man, I'm pretty sure it was Paranormal Activity.
Well, there's a spoof of Paranormal Activity called A Haunted House or a Haunted Mansion. A haunted house, haunted mansion, something else. A haunted house.
It's not. It is okay. It's not Paranormal Activity. It's about. It's like Ghost Hunter or something. Actually, It's not what it's. Paranormal Activity is not what I thought it was. Yeah, I have watched A Haunted House. That was pretty funny. But no, it's not a spoof. This one's about. It's about these ghost hunters, and they go to like some building or something, and every room they go into, they turn around and it's like a different room, and they lock themselves into this like hotel or insane asylum for like a whole night, and they end up almost never getting out, and it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. While we're on the subject of ghost hunters, real quick, what do you guys think of those shows, like Ghost Hunters, Ghost Adventures, and stuff?
Those are all.
Yeah.
I don't believe in any of them.
Yeah, I don't believe in any of them. The only one I can lend credibility to right now is Haunter, Achievement Haunter, because it seems valid that they are just interested in the paranormal stuff and want to see if stuff's haunted, and it doesn't seem like, so far at least, it doesn't seem like they could have faked anything, because they don't get a whole lot. Once in a while some real scary shit happens, but really they don't get a whole lot, and they're kind of like what my YouTube thing was trying to do, in the way of they want to prove whether they do or don't exist, so they're just kind of going out there with like basically no experience or anything. They're just going out there to see if they can get something to happen or if it doesn't. And I think that's the best way to do that, because then when you run into Ghost Adventures and Ghost Hunters and everything, it gets to a point that it's got to be entertaining for a TV show, so it's got to be scary, and you run into like people faking stuff because they don't get anything to happen somewhere, so there's got to be some noises and some things they see, and yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's stupid. Either way, though, what's your guys' experience with horror games? Like, what's the first horror game that you guys ever played and was like, this is fucking scary?
Condemned Bloodshot 2.
Condemned Bloodshot 2.
That'd be mine.
Or maybe not 2. Maybe just Condemned Bloodshot. But one of those.
It was good. That was a good
like,
game.
back in the day, it was like the scariest game out.
What do you do? I haven't played
I think it's is it first person?
Wait, was this on PS2?
No, it's on Xbox. Or at least the one we played was on 360.
Yeah, because we would all be in a party and we'd start the campaign at the same time, and there'd be like 3 or 4 of us playing it.
Yeah, you couldn't play. You couldn't play like together. It wasn't co-op. Yeah, Condemned 2 Bloodshot is what it was.
Yeah. Okay, that's on PS3.
Yeah, it probably was, but we played it on 360.
Yeah.
But it was like, when it came out, it was like the scary game to play. And it just had a bunch of jump scares, and you walk through and there's like a bathroom, and you like look in the mirror, something pop up behind you, and you turn around and it's gone, and you walk past a stall and something fucking jump out at you and all kinds of shit. But it's not bad. That was probably the first real scary one I played.
Yeah,
I don't like playing those VR scary games, man. That's too real for me.
Taylor had a blast watching me play that one night.
I got some good laughs.
Oh man, I wanna get a VR like kit to stream some VR and record some VR like gameplays and stuff.
We also played a game called, remember the White Noise?
Yeah, that was multiplayer.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Slenderman game.
Yeah.
But it was like an indie game that someone on Xbox made. But it was kind of like it, but it was like a low budget one.
Yeah.
And you walked around and tried to find all these things, and then you would hear like the white noise. It'd be like.
Yeah.
and then dude, like this thing would just jump up at you and fucking get you, and you had to run around and try to find all these notes and letters and shit. And it was pretty good. It was like a 4-person co-op.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun. Because like you'd just be walking around, and all of a sudden somebody in the Xbox Live party chat would fucking scream.
Yeah.
You're like, fuck, run!
And like it like, cause like you could see each other like walking around.
No, it wasn't called 8 Pages. It was called White Noise.
Oh, he's talking
Yeah,
about
yeah,
Slender Man.
Oh,
It's I think it's called Slender. The 8 Pages is.
maybe. This was kind of. It was like an indie version of that. You had to go these pages, just like that one or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think. Do you guys prefer horror movies or horror games?
Like what sense?
Like, which one do you enjoy more?
Probably movies for me. I don't really play any horror games.
Yeah, I haven't played a lot of games.
In general, yeah, I know.
I've played a lot of games. I haven't played a lot of horror games, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. What is do you have any other like horror games or anything that you used to play, Simphus?
Nah, I
Just those.
didn't really play any. It was just those 2 or 3 that I
Hey,
played.
they have White Noise on Steam for $5.
Uh-oh.
Did they?
Oh.
Yeah, they do.
Are we getting it?
Hey, we might, dude. We may get it right now. I can buy a 4-pack online copy for $15.
God damn. There you go.
Damn. $5 off. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But it was pretty fun. They actually have a White Noise 2 out now.
Mm.
I wonder if that's any good.
It's
Yeah,
on
I
Steam.
had to
I
look
think
at
it's
the
like
trailer.
What do you guys think are more enjoyable?
$10.
Multiplayer horror games or single player?
Multiplayer.
Yeah.
I like
multiplayer for sure.
being able to like run around with my friends.
Like
Yeah.
Dead by Daylight. I have
Yeah.
played Dead by Daylight too.
I haven't. I played one game of it so far on PS4.
It's not bad.
Just to try it.
I still want to get the GTFO game.
Yeah, I do too. We're gonna have to get that. And
If it wasn't so expensive, I'd get it now. But
yeah, it is kind of expensive.
little bit.
Yeah, I kind of figured you guys were gonna say multiplayer because you guys definitely like multiplayer more than single player.
It's just so much. It's just fun to share experience with people. You know?
Oh yeah. I'm not gonna.
Like, if I'm gonna get scared, I want somebody to get scared with me. I don't want to be the only fucking one. I don't want to be sitting there just fucking screaming. I'll be like, fuck that shit, dude.
Yeah.
I
I
don't do
understand.
that.
That was like my favorite on White Noise, because like I would walk around, I would pass like Jordan or something like that,
Mhm.
and Jordan would walk the other way. Then all of a sudden I would hear him fucking scream, so I would just bolt. I would like run the opposite way that he went, because I'm like, nah, fuck that. Like, so I know right where the White Noise is at, so I try to get away. I'm that guy that leaves you behind. I'm like, fuck it.
Taylor's the guy. You start running, he sticks a stick in between your legs and makes you fucking. He's like, "Fuck you, man! I'm getting the fuck out."
So
Good luck, buddy.
he's the literal incarnation of the old wise tale. The only way to outrun a bear is outrun the person next to you.
Yep.
Yeah,
Fucking out.
you don't gotta be faster than the bear. You just gotta be faster than the person next to you.
Valion in the chat says the haunted house effect more fun as a group than an individual. I can
I've
understand
never
that.
done a haunted house before.
What?
Actually, oh wait, never mind. I've done 2 up in Branson.
It's been a long time since I've done a haunted house.
How about shit a brick, bro? God damn. Yeah, I think there is a certain effect of having more people there. It's if I get scared by something by myself, I'm the only one that got scared. If I'm with you guys and something was enough to scare me or scare one of you, then it's obviously something that should be enough that scares everybody, so everybody gets scared. They get in that fucking that mob mindset, that mob mentality of, oh fuck, he's scared, so I'm scared. So I can definitely see why. I don't know. I haven't played a whole lot of scary multiplayer games. Left 4 Dead, and I had some good memories on Left 4 Dead with some friends and stuff. Just because you'd be walking somewhere and a fucking jockey jumps on your fucking head and takes you off the top of a building or some shit. Or a hunter leaps on you.
Personally, I don't count Left 4 Dead as a horror game, just because I think it's more cartoony.
Yeah, I don't think horror is the general concept behind Left 4 Dead. I think it's just scary. Like, it just has that added factor that it's scary. Ultimately, I think that one just is a zombie survival game with your friends, multiplayer. I don't think it really tries to be scary, but the hunter and, it can be scary, especially playing with friends, running through an alleyway, all four of you, a smoker lashes around your fucking neck with a tongue. And you're, oh no!
But you're like getting dragged. You're like, help me,
help me!
Help me, Tom Cruise.
God damn it. Excuse me. So
White Noise 2 is actually it's a 4v1 game.
Uh-oh.
So one guy is the bad guy and the other four have to. It's kind of like
Dead by Daylight.
Dead by Daylight, yeah.
And Deceit. Deceit is one that I own now, and people in my chat have wanted me to play it a couple times. I haven't yet.
Deceit?
Yeah, Deceit. It's a multiplayer scary game. I think one of you plays the bad guy in that. It's an interesting little game. Then there's the Friday the 13th video game as well, which is like Dead by Daylight, except Jason. Only Jason.
Yeah, I like Dead by Daylight better. I played both.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's like different characters you can play.
I think I actually have Dead by Daylight.
Well, good for you.
I don't. It looks fun. Like, if you get like a group of friends to play it, it looks fun.
Oh yeah, see, that's the thing. I don't like playing with a bunch of randoms. I like.
Oh yeah. I think as far as multiplayer goes, for like scary games and stuff,
definitely better with people you know. And
Yeah,
like
yeah.
people you can actually talk to. You know.
Yeah, exactly. Because you could play Rainbow Six Siege with randos, and if they're all good, they're good, and it's fine. But if you play Dead by Daylight with a bunch of randos, it just doesn't have the same effect. It's like
I think that's what makes horror games good too. Is like even if you ain't good at them, it's still fun to just fucking watch people run away from the bad guy.
exactly.
And that's what I like about Dead by Daylight also is you can like hide in the bushes and the dude will like walk right past you without you knowing you're there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did a good job on that game.
Yeah. And it still gets updated with new characters.
Oh yeah, they've got.
new
They've got like my little brother plays it all the time too. They've got like 15 enemies, like
yeah, they've got a lot
bad
now.
guys you can play. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
They've even got they even put in new like civilians and stuff once in a while.
Yeah, there's
with
like
abilities.
7 or 8, I think, civilians you can play. I'm not
Yeah.
100% sure, but
Yeah, and they all have the different effects and stuff. It's a pretty interesting game. It's a better version of like what I would call the Evolve formula, which for those of you that don't know, Evolve was a 4v1 game with big monsters. And you
man,
could
I
either
love
trap or
that.
kill
I
the
like
monster.
that game a lot, man.
I really did like that game too. I played it.
I hate that it got kind of thrown under the bus, you know.
Yeah, we played it a lot. Me and Kyler and a couple other friends. Back when it went free to play, when it first went free to play, we all grabbed it and we played it a lot for a very short time, like a month or so, and then not long into that, they were like, "All right, shutting down the servers," and we're like, "Oh, okay." But I mean,
is it like gone now?
yeah, it's gone. You can't play that game.
Yeah, it went downhill pretty quick.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was. It made me sad. It was around the time that I was playing Battleborn, which is another game that unfortunately went under. It was a fun game too. It's just it came out shortly after Overwatch, and people compared the two. They were nothing alike. Battleborn you played with friends through like missions, but it was kind of it was made by the Borderlands developers, so it had a bunch of cartooniness to it and everything. And there was a PvP mode. There were PvP modes, but they were still different than Overwatch's PvP modes. But it just got thrown into the same fucking group because Overwatch had just come out and they're like, oh, they're trying to rip off Overwatch. And they kept being like, no, we've been developing this far longer than Overwatch. And we had no intention to rip Overwatch. I say longer than Overwatch. Longer than Overwatch as Overwatch. Because before it was Overwatch, it was Project Titan or whatever. And it was in development for a while because it was supposed to be an MMO. But as Overwatch was what it eventually came to be, which I'll also say that about Paladins. Let me just hit that tangent real quick. A lot of people shit on Paladins because it does rip off certain characters and stuff from Overwatch, and it does, I'm not gonna lie. But Paladins was in development first as what it was supposed to be. And then Overwatch decided to do the team shooter thing instead of MMO. And so then you got games that are... You got people hating on games because they're supposed to be like Overwatch, but they're not. But anyways... no, Battleborn died because it tried to do too much, had a clunky gameplay and mechanics. See, I never had an issue. I didn't have an issue with, like, everything was smooth for me. The mechanics worked like they were supposed to. I don't know. But I was also playing it with some people that I met online that were good at the game, and I was good at the game. So, we didn't really have any issues, though. But I know a lot of people did complain about it, and they said they didn't like it. But I really like Battleborn. A decent amount of people did. But as player base died, it was harder to find games, so more people left. Paladins was less like Overwatch before it came out, oddly enough. A shame. Yeah, I know, exactly. The cards played a bigger part in that game. And a lot of stuff played a bigger part until Overwatch was a wild success. And then Paladins obviously started ripping off Overwatch after the fact. But so, anyways, so have you guys played any single player horror games though?
Besides Condemned.
Yeah, Condemned's about the only one I played.
You didn't play Amnesia, Outlast?
No, I always
Fear?
wanted to, but I never got them. I did.
Oh wait, Fear. I forgot all
I
about
forgot
Fear.
about Fear.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Fear's a
Because
good
that
one.
was-
Fear wasn't bad.
We played that one too together.
Yeah.
I haven't played. It's been a minute
I
since I played that one.
almost want to say like Fear definitely created the resurgence in horror games.
Oh yeah, it was
Because-
pretty legit.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Resident Evil and Silent Hill in the late 90s, early 2000s was pretty prominent. And then horror games just virtually were non-existent for a little bit. Good horror games. Obviously, there were probably still plenty of indie and shitty horror games. But for, like, as far as big studios went, there weren't many. And Silent Hill started to go down because they weren't making great games. And then on top of that, you had Resident Evil turning into more of an action game with 4 was still scary, and 4 was one of my first horror video game experiences, by the way, Resident Evil 4. But they started turning it more into action, especially with 5 and 6. But then Fear, kind of mid-2000s, out of nowhere, was like, hey, horror games are here. And then Fear, after the Fear series finished, Dead Space happened. And Dead Space was definitely pretty good. And then
Dead Space wasn't bad.
Yeah.
I remember playing that back on console.
Yeah. Then by the end of Dead Space, the Dead Space series, then you started having people picking it up on PC a whole lot, which was like, God damn it, which was like, that's when Slender and like Slender the Arrival, Slender 8 Pages, Five Nights at Freddy started to get really big. And I think that's where horror games kind of picked up again. Like, I guess what I'm trying to say is I feel like Fear is the only one that kept it alive in the mid-2000s or so. Fear and Dead Space. And then we got to a point where we got Slender, Five Nights at Freddy, Outlast came out, and then on top of that, around that time, 2012 era, 11-ish, PewDiePie had thrown up Amnesia gameplays and stuff.
Yep.
That's when
I
it
remember
really was popping
Yeah.
once he started that.
Once
He
there
was
were,
freaking hilarious to watch too.
yeah, I feel like, honestly, and it's a hot take, but I feel like horror games may have died had YouTube not become a thing and streaming not become a thing, because they definitely, because a lot of people don't play horror games because they don't want to get scared, they don't like to get scared, but they like to watch other people get scared. So then YouTube and streaming and stuff became a thing, and I feel like that is what attributes that, and then Fear and Dead Space attributes to keeping it alive through the early 2000s ish. And now we have them as multiplayer games, and they're wildly successful now. But then obviously there was the playable teaser for Silent Hills on PlayStation 3, the PT demo, which was fantastic, and fantastic to watch people react to it. But what do you think? In terms, what do you think makes a good horror game? Do you think it's the story, jump scares, immersion, all of it? What
Jump
to you?
scares. 100%.
Jump scares?
When it comes to games,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's fucking jump scares.
What about you, Simphus?
I think if they really want me in it, like they need my full focus on like in the game.
So immersion?
Yeah, I'd say more immersion for me if they want to get me.
Yeah. I mean, I think obviously all of it plays a big part, but yeah, I would say immersion, because the jump scares won't do anything to you. Well, most people at least, if you're not immersed. You know, you have to be immersed for those jump scares to even affect you, to even scare you. So,
Yeah, if I'm not immersed, then like a jump scare happens, it might give me a little bit.
yeah.
But if I was really focused in on the game,
Mhm.
then it would get me even more.
I think when it comes movie wise, it's got to be immersive. But when it comes to games, I want to be like fucking scared to go around every fucking corner. Like
Yeah.
I want to go around the corner just like fucking slow, just like something's right there.
Yeah. Okay. I've got this list of top 20 best horror games, and this, for those of you at home, this is from GamesRadar.com. And this list was put out October 31st last year. So, a few games have come out since then. Scary. But I'm just going to run through this real quick. Some of these you're not going to know. But at the end of it, just if you recognize the games and stuff, tell me what you guys think of their list here. Do you think it's, good? Do you think there's games that definitely need to be on this list that aren't? That kind of thing. Okay. So at number 20 we have Lone Survivor. No idea what it is. Looks like a 2D Silent Hill clone. Then you get Fear on number 19. Condemned Criminal Origins on 18.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the first one, maybe?
Condemned Criminal Origins.
Yeah.
I'll have to look it up. Yeah, I think that's the first one.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's from like Sega Genesis and shit.
Okay. 17 is Fatal Frame 2, Crimson Butterfly. And Fatal Frame games are really big in the horror community. I've never played a single one. But I know of them. And they kind of interact with like myths and tropes and stuff from that's exactly what they said here, picking up on the tropes of Japanese horror and folklore that were made famous In the Ring, and Ju-on. And so they're scary games. They're just scary games based on like stuff that you would see on The Ring and Grudge and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Little Nightmares is a new one. It's a little side-scroller horror game. It's not really scary. It's just kind of creepy, disturbing. Alan Wake at number 15. 14 is Amnesia: The Dark Descent. 13 is Until Dawn, which plays like Telltale games.
I've heard of that one.
You haven't played Until Dawn?
I don't think so. I don't think I ever played it.
Oh, man. Okay. 12 is Bloodborne, which is like Dark Souls, Demon Souls stuff. 11 is Resident Evil 4. 10 is Dead Space. 9 is Soma, which I recently played on my stream. 8 is Until Dawn Rush of Blood, which is their VR experience for Until Dawn. 7 is Outlast. 6 is Silent Hill 2. 5 is Resident Evil 2 Remake. 4 is PT. That playable teaser demo for what was supposed to be Silent Hills, but it got canceled. That was on PlayStation. 3, Alien Isolation, which is that game that I was talking about that if you have a mic or whatever hooked up, they can hear you. I think that's the one at least.
Yeah, that'd be a fun game to play.
2, Layers of Fear, and 1, Resident Evil 7, which I'm currently streaming.
We
Shout
could
out.
not play that game. A
What?
game that involves your mic.
Oh, no.
I already know I would fuck y'all so hard. We'd be sneaking. I'd be like, everybody would call you like, shh, quiet. Hey, yo, bitch, I'm over here.
God damn it.
They'd be like,
Then immediately, you bastard!
or just run it. They're like, Walter, you fucking asshole.
God damn it.
I'm just sitting there.
So, what do you think about that list? Do you think there's any games that need to be on there that you guys would say?
I think the second Bloodshot should be on there.
Condemned 2?
Yeah, I mean, because it literally was like one of the top scariest games at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it
was
should at
definitely
least
good.
make it, you know.
Yeah. And I
There's like a few times I didn't want to go any further.
Oh yeah, I mean it was pretty jumpy, man. Pretty jumpy.
goddamn. I'm gonna have to play it, I guess. I've never played it. But I feel like I'm surprised you guys took so long to bring, or didn't remember Fear until I brought it up, because you guys specifically, since you guys like FPS games, I would think that you guys were like super into Fear because it was an FPS horror game, and Dead Space as well. Well, Dead Space was third person.
For me, it was mostly like Call of Duty, Halo.
Yeah,
I mean, like all the normal FPS. Like, I don't know. I mean, scary is fine, but I just don't have fun with them as much. They're like a good thrill, but that's about it.
Yeah. I don't know why I even opened up that Discord thing on my phone, dude. I'll tell you which one got me. I'll tell you which one got me. The Uncle Comes to Visit one.
Dude, that bottom one, that last one, didn't get
That last one's good. It just made me mad. Honey Nut was okay. But Uncle Comes to Visit, that one right there was the one that really got me. Because the future is now, old man.
It's like, it's only good like if you ever like watch the TV show and like you can actually see him saying it.
Yeah. But God damn it. So, what do you guys think are the best, like, make the best horror games in terms of single player? Do you guys think it's like 2D side scroller? Do you guys
Definitely
think...
not 2D.
Not
Fuck
definitely
No,
2D.
I like first person first person, like really in there, 3D.
Yeah. Full immersion. You like that?
So, yeah, I like the
Yeah.
full immersion. Like I don't 2D stuff just that don't scare me.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I
No,
used.
no 2D. Like for me, 2D is out.
Mhm.
Like it's just not scary.
Yeah. There's see, that's kind of my thing, and we're gonna get hate for saying that, because there's a lot of people that really like that. You know, there's a lot of indie developers too that develop games 2D, not because they're easier to make or anything, but just because like there are certain things you can do in 2D games that you can't in 3D games, as far as like objectives and how like making a game goes and stuff. But I kind of feel the same, and I've kind of always felt the same in the way that I've tried to play some 2D horror games, and I've played one recent Paratopic, I think is what it was called. It was a 3D horror game, but it was kind of like it was very pixely was the art style and stuff.
Yeah.
And that one was pretty scary, but it was 3D. But I can't say that I've ever been scared by any 2D games, 2D horror games.
Not at all.
And I don't really see how they are, because I hear a lot of people go, "Oh, that game was terrifying," and it's 2D little side scroller thing, and I'm like, I don't get it. Maybe some of the stuff that you see could be disturbing or creepy, but I couldn't see any of that scaring me, genuinely giving me the creeps to the point that I'm scared about it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I've kind of always been in the same boat where I was like, I want to, because obviously there's something about these games that people are like, oh, these are scary, but I just can't get on that boat. But so you think first person, third person? Definitely first person, it seems like, for you guys at least.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's third person too, I guess, but it's first person. See, the thing about third person is, you can you're able to see, you can see around corners and shit like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's what makes jump scares, is not seeing them coming.
Now, let me elevate.
And I would say it's a little bit harder to do when it's third person.
It needs to be out of nowhere, because I mean, a lot of times, like, oh, I'm about to like walk around this corner. I don't know. It's like there's too many jump scares that are almost predictable at this point.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because we've watched so many movies or what, but
yeah,
it's just, they're predictable at this point.
You could get a shitty horror game with nothing but jump scares, no music or anything like that, just things that pop out of you, and throw it at someone who hasn't had any experience in horror games or scary things in general, and they're gonna get scared a lot faster than someone like us would, who play horror games, or I play horror games at least a lot. Those kinds of jump scares won't always get me. Sometimes they do, just because I'm immersed and not really thinking about it. But
immersed definitely helps.
Yeah, for sure. It's a pretty good list, but it leaves out a few great ones like Stalker and Eternal Darkness. It says Valion in the chat, I know Stalker and Eternal Darkness. I never got to play it, but I know of it. I've seen the case, and I've seen people play it, but I've never played it myself. But Stalker, I do like Stalker. I think you guys would like Stalker, because it's like a FPS survival kind of game in like Russia.
Stalker? Oh, dude, okay. Stalker was actually not bad. I never got to play it, but I forgot which YouTuber it was, and I watched him play like through the whole entire thing.
Yeah, I know. That's why I kept saying Stalker over and over in that sentence, because we've talked about it before, and I was sitting there waiting for you to catch on.
I haven't talked anything about it. I don't know. I haven't even seen that one.
Yeah, let me.
We've talked about that one before. Stalker
I'll
was
tell you
one
exactly who.
Stalker was one of the games that kept horror games alive in mid-2000s through like 2012 plus, till newer, crazier games came out. Yeah, I know it was a popular game. I had a fucking. I think my Facebook cover photo, when we first could make cover photos on Facebook, was a Stalker image, and I think also my computer background, back when I lived with my parents, was Stalker. Yeah, look it up.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now.
Watch a video on it or something like that.
Yeah, it's good. Like, I've always thought about actually getting this.
Yeah, I don't know why, but it kind of reminds me of kind of reminds me of.
There's a whole bunch of them.
Yeah. There's multiple. It kind of reminds me of Escape from Tarkov. I don't know why. I think that's just because that game's fresh on my mind because of recently. But or maybe just the Russian.
Is it made after a movie?
I don't think it's based on a movie.
Because there's a
Maybe it is.
movie called Stalker,
Oh,
Shadow of
19
Chernobyl.
1979.
is it based in Russia?
Yeah.
The movie?
Yeah, because Russian director Andrei Tarkovsky. Hey, his name is Tarkov. Tarkov.
Oh,
Tarkov.
I
Imagine that.
know. Avalion is also Valion in the chat. I appreciate him being here recently because he does offer a different perspective than any of ours. Because I've played a lot of games, I have a lot of game experience, I know a lot about games. These two are more focused on FPS and stuff like that, and multiplayer games. And Valion in the chat, he plays a lot of games none of us would play, like 2D games and those indie games and stuff like that. He's way more interested in those things, so he does provide a good perspective here. 2D top-downs are scarier. Imagine knowing something is in the room, not being able to do anything about it. Also, one less dimension to escape. And I guess I kind of get that to a point, because 3D, you can look up and down and everywhere, and so if you want to look away from the creature before it kills you, or you're running away, you can maneuver around a little bit better. So I guess I get why that would be scary. Just to me, I still don't. I think it would be. I'd be scared of the suspense of it catching me or of me going through a room. But I still don't think it would ever achieve the same fear, at least with me, as a 3D game would. But that's also that's gonna differ from person to person, because obviously you and a lot of people think 2D games and stuff can be scary. I don't know. Maybe I just haven't played a good enough one, though. Maybe there is one out there that could scare me. I don't know. I'm not sure how well Stalker holds up now. Yeah, well, I mean, if Simphus got it now, I'm sure he would go into it understanding it's an old game. So
Yeah, I mean, you can look back. I looked it up. I remember who I watched it. It was actually PewDiePie who I watched play it.
Oh, really? I don't remember him playing Stalker.
Yeah,
That
you
might
have
have
to
been before I really started watching a lot of his YouTube stuff.
I don't know. I seen the game and I typed it in, and his was like the first one to pop up.
Oh. Jesus Christ. Oh, man.
It got worse.
Dude.
Oh shit!
I'm docking.
It just kept getting worse.
Look at me, Hector.
I tried so hard not to laugh.
That last one's horrible, dude. That last one down there is fucking god awful, bro. You're burning. You're burning for that one.
Oh man.
What do you guys think are the scariest type of thing, though? I brought it up earlier. I was going to ask about it. I forgot to. What do you guys think is the scariest type of thing in terms of, like, a creature or an enemy? Is it the idea of you don't know what it is and that scares you? Like, if you've never seen it on the game, it just keeps making noises and jump scaring you, but you don't know if it's a ghost or this or that.
Yeah, I like
ghosts.
Like music, dude. Music
Oh yeah.
in video games, like, I mean, it changes the game.
Yeah. There's a couple.
Like, you know, you're sitting there, it's like beep, 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 dun 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 dun.
Yeah, I feel like
Like,
music
oh,
switches out of nowhere.
shit.
You're like, oh.
Why did the music change that?
Yeah.
Why is there a big ammo pile right here?
Why did they
damn
give me
it.
a bunch of health? Uh-oh.
They gave me a new gun. I don't know why. I thought my old gun was doing just fine. So is it just the ambience that scares you of horror games? Like, doesn't matter what the enemy is, or is there a specific thing that scares you more, whether it's a human enemy, an entity you can't see, a ghost, a demon?
No, I like. It's not really stuff I can't see. I mean, I like to stuff that it's got to be there. That's what.
You want to see the creature?
Oh yeah.
But here's
Now,
the
is it-
thing, like that. Yeah, that's how I kind of feel. But say if I play like 20 minutes and he pops out like 15 times in that 20 minutes, eventually I'm
Yeah,
gonna
it's less
start
scary.
like, okay, well,
Yeah.
like I've seen him plenty of times now. Like you can't just keep going with it.
Yeah. I think that's one of the things. Outlast gets a lot of praise for being a really scary game. In a time that there were so many horror games that some people were thinking that it was kind of getting old, horror games and stuff. And Outlast got a lot of praise during that because it did horror in a new kind of way, and it was scary and everything. But that's one of the things with me with Outlast. I could speed run Outlast at this point and never yell, never scream. I did the first time going through, don't get me wrong, but about halfway through the game, I got so sick of seeing the enemies that the only enemy that kind of scared me was the ghost soul weird enemy guy, and I even saw him enough in a short amount of time that I stopped getting scared by him as well.
Yeah, that's the big thing with horror games is they can't really be that long.
Yeah. It does seem like the longer they are, the less scary it is.
Yeah.
That's something I've noticed doing my Saturday Night Fright streams that I've done recently. Is it seems like the longer I play the fucking game, eventually by the
definitely
end
don't make it long.
eventually by the end of the stream, I'm not so scared by it anymore. I'm just kind of like, and I'm sure plenty of viewers notice where I'm sitting there like, all right, let's just get through this. Like, how do we do this? I think the only one that hasn't done that so far with me is I've put a lot of time into Resident Evil 7 so far, decent amount of time, and I'm still getting scared by that one pretty good right now. But Observer really pissed me off. I got to a point to where just some of the game mechanics and stuff like that, I was like, this is stupid, dude. Like, I got sick of Observer. I hate Observer, by the way, for anybody out there. A lot of people will tell you all day and night Observer is one of the best horror games you're going to play. I'll tell you all day and night, it's good for the first hour or so, and it starts to get old real quick. It starts to piss me off.
What is it?
Observer.
Observer? I haven't
Yeah.
heard that one.
It's a game where you basically play this this like detective, and you're looking for your son, and
Oh yeah, what is
Yeah.
it? He keeps yelling out Kevin or not Kevin. Yeah, Kevin.
yeah, he yells out some name. It's Adam, I think. Adam.
I can't remember. I remember
But-
because like you have to chase him down. You keep yelling out his name and
Yeah, and you have this thing that you can, when you find like dead people, you can like jack into their mind, and then you play these little scary segments and stuff on there as well. A lot of people like it. I don't know. It got old to me, and there's this one part where you're in a forest, and what it's supposed to do is like you're in the forest, but really you're in this room. You're like hallucinating. So the actual room is like supposed to be like a hologram projected around you, but it's kind of opaque and you're seeing the forest at the same time. Well, the problem is when I got to that part, the opacity on the actual room was so bad that I couldn't actually see what I had to do. And so it was, I spent an hour or so on that one thing that should have taken me 10 minutes to complete and get out of that room. I spent about 30 minutes to an hour on that, and it was just god awful. Like, I don't know if it was a problem with the game or if that was the way they wanted it to be, but it was fucking awful. I had a horrible time on it. So what would you guys say is like the best time frame for a scary video game to remain as scary as it can be?
a time frame, like how long the game is.
Yeah.
I could do 2 hours.
2 hours. After
Yeah,
2
I think-
hours, you're gonna start getting a little.
Yeah, it just depends. It all depends on what content's in it.
What about you, Taylor?
Mm,
Sorry if I keep muting my mic. I got the sniffles. I don't want to be sneezing in my.
Yeah, you don't want to get any listeners sick through the audio. That coronavirus, man, it's contagious. Let me tell you.
yeah. Yeah, I'd just make it a few hours.
A few hours.
I mean, and don't make the game $60.
Yeah.
You'd probably
Now-
have a lot more people buying it.
Do you guys like? This just came to me. Do you guys like the aesthetic of horror games? Like just the art style that a lot of
Oh
horror
yeah,
games
yeah.
use?
I mean, if it's bad graphics, it
Yeah.
ain't gonna be as good. But
Well, I mean, I'm not even just talking about as far as horror games go. Like, wow, when you get into the undead area, it's supposed to look kind of creepy and scary. And I really like the undead area because of that. Because it's all dark and kind of, you see a lot of dark blues and purples and stuff. And undead enemies and stuff like that. Or other undead enemies and stuff. And I really like the aesthetic of it. Not just, like, it doesn't scare me at all, obviously, but because it's World of Warcraft, but there's just some aspect of it that I really like. I like the art style of that, the animation and stuff of that.
Oh, what? World of Warcraft?
Yeah, like when you get to the undead area on like World of Warcraft, like if you start as an undead.
Oh yeah, yeah, because you started like around that cemetery.
Yeah. See, I like
It looks cool.
Yeah, exactly. I like that ambience. I guess edginess. There's a little bit of edginess to it because it's undead and things are supposed to look dead and creepy and stuff. And so I guess I like the edginess of it, which I can't say on the internet too many times because people will give me shit. Because for some reason you can't like anything edgy on the internet nowadays. You get shit for it for whatever reason. Oh God. Also,
I gave it to you through the mic.
no,
Oh,
now,
no.
now I got it, bro. Now I got it.
That's how it starts.
Um,
They figured out how to get all the gamers.
oh no. That's what they
We
do.
don't leave
they
the house.
They secluded us all into our homes. And now that we're in our homes, now we can get it digitally. And it can come
Oh,
through the
no.
audio and the speakers. And
It's over, boys.
yeah, it's just, we're done. They secluded us all in, quarantined us, and then they were like, now turn on the digital. Turn on the digital coronavirus. And then it fucking started coming through the speakers and the mics. And now we've all got it. You guys listening, you just caught coronavirus. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do it to you. I didn't mean to do it.
Corona.
Now, what do you guys think about games being scary, but they're not meant to be horror games? Like Minecraft. Creepers on Minecraft.
Oh shit, dude. I like those too. Anything
fun.
that's just shit just jumps out somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, just
Anything that
like
if you hear me running away, then
Here
it's
goes
a
his
fun
mic.
Yeah, your mic went way up.
We heard if you see me running away and then your mic just cut out.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, we can see you talking,
If you see,
but
if you see me running away, just saying like, "Oh shit, run!" You know.
yeah,
You know.
we ended up playing Minecraft yesterday,
Yeah, we played and streamed
and
it.
Zach has like, I'm not gonna say anything about it, but Zach has like a great moment where he's trying to run away, and you'll be able to catch that on his YouTube channel.
Yeah.
But man, it is great. I went back and watched it myself.
Yeah, it's the first. Just to plug that real quick, it's the first like highly edited gameplay type thing I'm doing. I have a lot of edits in, a lot of pictures and stuff to make it funny and sounds and stuff like that. And it's my first like real attempt at something like that. But I took down the first about 40-50 minutes of our gameplay and put it into about a 10-minute video. So there's gonna be a couple more videos from that for sure. Ugh. But I just looked at the bottom one. I didn't even look at the other ones. That's all I looked at. But yeah, so for those of you interested in that whole experience, that'll be up on my YouTube starting Monday, and it'll go through the week till it finishes.
One of my favorite memes is I may be white, but I'm not. What's that noise, white?
Oh, man.
Because I ain't going to
Nope.
shit.
Fucking run! Oh man, that reminds me. Whenever we did that haunted house thing, we went up to Branson. And of course, like we had our whole family, And most people won't know, but I have my grandma adopted Ray, and
He's got a black uncle.
yeah, I have a black uncle. He's adopted, and we were running through it, or whatever. All of a sudden, a dude came around the corner with a chainsaw. He wasn't. Here's the thing, because when we started out, he was in the front, and we started going, and everybody was pushing him forward. He said, "No, fuck that." He was like, "I've watched the movies. The black person dies first every time." He gets to the back. He goes to the back. So we go like a few like 100 yards. Then finally, when we came around the corner, that's when the chainsaw dude came around the corner. He went from the back to the front in like half a second, and you know those at like train stations, they have like those things where you have to like push it to go through. Like you put your card in, then if it accepts it,
Yeah.
it's like those three things. Yeah, you push it.
Turnstile.
He jumped over the fucking thing, and he ran outside, dude. He was fucking quick. I never seen him run that fast.
He was out of there.
He was out of there.
I don't like that. I don't like that one. But yeah, for those that don't know, another thing I do on my YouTube is called Not Very Scary. The idea of it is to I don't know whether I want to believe in ghosts or not. So the idea of it is to throw myself willy-nilly into things that could potentially be haunted or are supposed to be or have any kind of history of being haunted or scary, and I get scared. What I was gonna do it when I moved up here with these guys, but they wouldn't say it to my face, and until recently they wouldn't say it to my face for some reason, but they're just not gonna do it. I know they're not going to. They still haven't actually said no, but they're not gonna do it. I've talked about it with them, and it seems like after I mention the fact that when I hear the scary noise, I'm gonna do the white thing, or the white guy thing of walking to it, going to whatever the scary thing is, because the idea is I want to know, is it something scary, or is it a fucking piece of metal rattling against something weird or something. I want to debunk it, and so I just really wanted to point out that Simphus and Bearded Moor is here. They got balls. They're just not real big, guys. But
I don't care to go. I'm just fucking lazy, bro.
Yeah, I mean, you say that, but last time I brought it up, you were like, no, not happening.
I don't. Just where you wanted to go. I'm not going there. Just it's a long story. Just a long story.
Oof. Damn, shots fired. Nah, they obviously know I'm fucking around, but yeah, for those either want to check that out, that happens.
I don't mind going to like a cemetery or something, but I ain't gonna break into somebody's house,
Which one are you talking about?
That Taylor's old house.
Oh, well, yeah, but we've talked about a cemetery and stuff since then, and you were like,
"Oh no, I don't care to go to one of those."
Either way, the cemetery we were gonna go to is apparently gets a bunch of kids that like vandalize it at night, so you can't go into it at nighttime apparently. So we can't do that one anyways. But there you go. But what makes me bring that up is, do you guys like to be scared? Or no?
Yes.
You do?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I like the thrill.
Yeah. Because I was thinking about this earlier when we were deciding what to do, the topic and stuff. God damn it, dude. But when we were deciding what to do, I thought about it and I was like, what is it about people that like do we like to be scared? Because we throw ourselves at horror movies and things like that, and we enjoy them, and we come out like, oh, that was a good movie, that was real scary. But at the same time, if you think about it, if you think about how you feel when you're scared, you're like, I want this fucking moment done. I want this moment over with. And so I was sitting there like, do we like horror? Like, do we like scary things, or do we not? So that's why I wanted to ask you guys.
I remember I watched one movie. I don't remember what it was called, and it was about this house, and this family had gotten murdered in there. And it's an old movie, and I remember this girl looked out this window, and there's two red eyes outside the window, and then the music that was like dun 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 dun. And dude, I was just sitting there staring. I couldn't look away. It's like that music just made me stare.
I'm sure there's some science to it where they, because I feel like I've almost seen a video or something that has described the fact that like music is just as important to scare someone as a visual is, for sure, because it seems like just when you want to look away from something, or when something starts to scare you, the music keeps you like tuned into it until it finally actually scares you. But for those of you in the chat, by the way, I said it earlier in the chat. If any of you guys want to tell us your favorite horror experiences and why, or games and why, so we could talk about that for a minute as well, hit us
Warden's
in the
got a
chat.
good one.
My horror experience is when I was watching hentai in class. My teacher was walking behind me, and she
Oh,
saw
no.
Oh shit!
that right there is true horror, because ghosts, you don't know whether they exist. So if you got some weird noises and stuff, it's scary, but you don't, it could be anything. But when the teacher catches you watching porn, man, it's over. You know it's over. You're getting in trouble. That fucking like heart skip moment where you're like, did I see it? Oh no.
I like to play a game where I'm sitting in my room doing my business, and then I hear a car pull up, and then you try to finish before they can get inside.
Oh my god. When I heard the car pull up, I knew where it was going. I was like, God damn it.
It's like
With my
defusing a
teacher
bomb before it goes
and
off.
my parents, Jesus. I've got a scary story, says Bunny Bacon in the chat. All right.
I got one too many.
So I was
Oh,
banging
Jesus.
this fat
That
chick,
doesn't-
right? Uh-oh. It was 6th grade. Oh, man, that's worse. The younger it is, the worse, because then the teacher's like, what the fuck? And then all of a sudden, her mom walks in. Oh, my God. This is a joke. He's told this joke so many times in chat.
Next thing I know. So anyway, I'm fucking my brother, right?
So I was banging this fat chick, right? And all of a sudden, her mom walks in, and she's all like, what are you doing to my couch? God damn it. Oh, man. That gets me every fucking time. I was banging this fat chick. Oh, man. How fucked up are you that you think a couch
Teacher walked out of there. What is it? Where do we?
out of class? So I moaned. Jesus. We had in my high school, we had a lot of, turns out she was in the hall. Jesus. Are we still live in the pod? Yeah, we're still recording the podcast and heard everything. Jesus. I'm like, hey, she came on to me. Jesus Christ.
Damn.
God damn it. We had this not pulling out, just like the couch. Oh man. God damn it. This quickly turned from horror. Yeah, you know what? Before we decided to do horror, bearded Moors threw out porn first as the topic idea. Favorite porn stars,
yeah.
that's what it was.
Looks like we're
Fuck
going.
no bread. Hell yeah.
We ended up doing a dual episode that night
Hell yeah.
where we talked about porn and horror, both.
There you go.
But
Who's your favorite porn
there was
star?
a weird thing at my school. Like a lot of the football dudes specifically would do it because God knows that they need to get any weirder. But that's I'll put it that way to be politically correct about it. But they would moan at any given time, just in the middle of anything. I think that's something that a lot of people have had in a lot of schools. But like someone would walk out, like teacher would walk out or something like ah, and just to fuck with the teacher would walk back in like, what was that? But they'd do it like we go on field trips and stuff like that, and they'd do that shit. Horror and sex actually share a close relationship in the human brain. Many chemicals and reactions are tied together. Well, there you go. So I guess we're doing a dual episode. Favorite porn star, go! No, I'm kidding.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus Christ. Damn. We lost followers. Oh, man. But, maybe we can rein in the experiences in chat to horror experiences, not anything else. Porn experiences or sexual experiences, and less.
That'll be on the.
Yeah, we'll do
what's
it.
the after show?
Yeah, the after show. We'll
The
talk
after
about porn
podcast.
and horror and sex in the after show, which you can see exclusively at twitch.com/Zenith Darksky. I think we actually lost a viewer. It's okay. Just kidding. But yeah. God, I don't even know where to go to get back on track now. we're so off the fucking track that I don't even know how to get us back on. Oh yeah, I guess I can take the time right now to I announced it to my podcast and everything so far. For those of you that are interested in my Saturday Night Fright streams, where I stream horror games and you get to see me scream like a bitch. Normally it would be on my Twitch channel, Zenith Darksky, but I can now announce that I have a deal with Prima Games. They have a Twitch channel. They've recently created their Twitch channel, and I've got a deal with Prima Games that on Saturdays, 4 p.m. Central Standard Time, I'm going to be streaming on their channel, not my own, horror games and all that stuff, you know. We're going to be getting scared on their channel now. So if you guys like horror games and you like this topic and everything, then be sure to head over to Prima Games on Saturdays. Before then, and you can check out other streamers, but on Saturdays specifically, to check me out and, you know, give them a follow and everything as well, and maybe swing by my channel and give me a follow too. But yeah, so hashtag plug again. This is just episode full of plugs, man. Butt plugs of all kinds. But yeah. So I don't know how to bring it back. I don't know how to save the episode now. It's done. We're gone.
It's gonna take a lot of editing.
I guess I can go to, in the same vein as horror games being long and short, what do you guys think about horror TV shows and stuff, such as...
Not big.
Quick Revive. You're not like you know, American Horror Story and Channel Zero, Room, whatever. There's another one that is like anthology based as well.
I never really watched them.
You don't really watch them? Do you think that...
No.
Why is that?
I don't know. I don't know.
Do you think...
I never really
think
got
it's
into the TV shows.
It's just kind of repetitive.
Yeah. Do you
Man,
think
that's-
shows like American Horror Story do the best, where at least it's a different story every season? Or do you think something like Black Mirror does it better? Because Black Mirror is not horror in the classical sense, But Black Mirror, have you guys seen Black Mirror? Netflix?
No,
It's
I haven't really watched any of them.
it's definitely it's different. Like I said, it's not horror in the classical sense. It's more like scary ideas, scary things that could very, very well happen to us.
Yeah, I
Not an
remember you
AHS
talking about it.
Yeah. Not an American Horror Story fan, but Channel Zero is great. What about Horror Shop 2? I don't know what that is. But Black Mirror essentially it seems to deal with technology more, but like one of the things is like deepfakes are a big thing now, where they take a bunch of pictures and videos, put it on like a porn star or this person or that person, and make it seem like that person is having sex or doing whatever or dying or whatever. Black Mirror is essentially saying that if you were to, like, the first episode basically, and this is a massive spoiler for the first episode of Black Mirror, but you've had a long time to watch it for anyone out there. It's been out for a bit. But essentially what they do in that first episode is they control the Prime Minister, I think, of England by, or of the UK, by showing him, like, saying that they're going to release him, or no, he has to have sex with a pig. That's what it is. It's like a pig or something. He has to have sex with a pig. Yeah, he has to have sex with a pig, or else they'll kill people or do something. I don't fucking remember what it is, but they threaten him with it, and so he ends up doing it anyways. But even if he wasn't gonna do that, they were fully prepared to have a dude like deepfake and do it as well. But it's just a kind of looking at life and looking at technology that we have right now and being like, what if it got this crazy, or what if it went this far? There's VR episodes where VR goes wrong. There's all kinds of shit. There's VR episodes where VR goes right and then wrong. There's episodes that, it's crazy. But anyways, it's horror stuff. But it changes every episode. Every episode is different. It's connected in some way, I guess, probably, but it's not. American Horror Story is one season is a story, next season is a different story. Black Mirror is every episode is a different story, and then movies are like 3 hours, 2 hours of one story. Which one of those do you think hits the best?
TV shows?
Do you think TV shows do it the best?
I didn't catch that last part. What was that?
I was saying, what do you think out of movies or TV shows where they do a story a season, or TV shows where they do a story an episode, like Twilight Zone and Black Mirror and stuff like that? What do you think does it the best? And again,
I'd probably say TV show.
Kind of goes back to the length of time. Which TV show, like whole season as a story, or just one episode?
No, it'd have to be like I said. I don't like it to be repetitive. I don't want to watch the same thing over and over again. So I'd like it to be something different every episode.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Like American Horror Story, it's all right. It ain't my favorite show. My wife watches it a lot, but
so do you
that's
think
the only reason I've ever watched it. It's just because she watches it. But
yeah, do you think that movies are too long?
No, movies are only like an hour or something like that. It's just if they get repetitive.
Yeah.
No, I think movies are good. That's why I'm saying I like movies better when it comes to horror stuff.
Okay. Now I know I just got to hit on it real quick. There's such a thing out there as horror in literature. Have you guys read any scary books?
No, I don't read.
You know who you're talking to?
Man, I thought to myself, I was like, I shouldn't ask it, but I don't want to be insulting and not ask it at the same time. So I was like, I'll ask just to see.
I remember reading, there was like one, that I read when I was younger. I will say it was like they're supposed to be making like a TV series out of it. It's just like scary.
Goosebumps?
It's just called no. It's just called like Scary Stories or something.
Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Maybe
That's they made a movie out of that.
that's what it was. Yeah,
Yeah.
I read that.
Oh, really? That's a good one.
Yeah.
I just wanted to hit on it because the fact that whether we read them a lot or not, horror in literature is very prominent. Stephen King does a lot of horror and stuff, and those get turned into movies. Some horror stories get turned into games and stuff. And, you have you've got, you can go far back with H.P. Lovecraft stories, and then there's Goosebumps and stuff that get kids into horror.
I will say I did read a few Goosebumps.
Yeah,
I mean, I
I read
think
a
That
lot
was
of
like
Goosebumps.
way back
They're
in the
not.
day.
They're more like kid horror movies. They're not
Yeah,
really.
I mean, obviously it doesn't have to be good or adult horror, but horror is kind of important, I guess, like even in literature and stuff. Or I guess I would say literature is important in horror because we wouldn't have a lot of good horror movies or games and stuff without books. So I wanted to hit that real quick because that's kind of prominent. If anybody in the chat has any more questions or anything like that in terms of horror games and stuff like that, or horror experiences or anything, then hit us up. Otherwise, we're going to start winding down here, I suppose. I still don't know what I'm going to do after this, by the way. Warden was talking about Evil Head is a cool movie. It's about Evil Head, a 2012 American pornographic horror film written and co-written. It's based on the 1981 horror film The Evil Dead. Oh, I like The Evil Dead. I like Evil Dead. I forgot all about Evil Dead.
so
Evil
it's
Dead has
just
games. What's your favorite horror game? Whoo! My favorite horror game would probably be... Oh, man, that's a hard fucking question. I don't know why I didn't answer earlier, because I asked you guys what your, favorite horror experience... I think I asked you guys, didn't I? Horror
Yeah.
game? What your favorite horror game was? Because you guys were talking about Condemned.
Yeah, Condemned was both of ours.
Yeah.
Fuck. Probably... Soma was really good. Probably... It'd still probably have to be, Resident Evil. Resident Evil, no question, 7. I still want to play Resident Evil 7 VR. In VR. Damn it. I can't fucking... I can't play it right now, but I
Let's
want
go
to play.
down and play it.
I mean, I was actually going to ask your father. I'm glad he's in chat. I was going to ask him if he ever gets, a different VR kit, if I can borrow the old VR kit to play some of those games and stuff, because I don't have that money. But there are a lot of VR horror games and VR games I gotta fucking play. I'll send it to you. Oh, there you go. Where do you feel the future of horror games needs to go in order to evolve and survive? What are you guys thinking? VR?
Yeah, for sure.
VR would definitely be the next step, just considering how immersive it would be, and it's just in your face.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be bad.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be bad if some more high end AAA people would make a horror game for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If not VR, would you guys say multiplayer next? Because multiplayer is just now becoming a big thing in horror. Do you think that's the way it's going to keep going? Or...
I hope so. I'd play
I-
it. I'd play more if it was multiplayer, for sure.
Okay.
It'd be a lot better.
Okay. I just wanted to ask that second question there because I know some people out there are so disinterested in VR that they're like, oh, okay. And like they're not okay with that answer. So I wanted to see where you guys would say other than VR. And I figured it was multiplayer. But yeah, but that would be mine too. I really feel like the future of horror games needs VR. Like VR and horror go pretty hand in hand. Just because it's like we were saying, one of the most important parts of horror to us is immersion. And to be fully immersed in a horror game, what is better than VR to immerse you in a horror game, you know?
Nothing.
So I definitely feel like it's VR for sure. In order to evolve and survive, as long as VR keeps surviving itself long enough to keep progressing and evolving as a gaming format, I guess you would say, they will have to change the multiplayer horror. The ones they have now are not interesting to me. See, we were talking about it. We're all pretty interested in multiplayer horror. Earlier, we were talking about that. But I do know that there are some people that don't like them. And so I think besides VR, that is the other way that it needs to evolve, is you need to get more people in horror games and more people interested in them. And for the ones that are interested in multiplayer, I know a lot of people that like multiplayer games, but they don't like horror games.
GTFO.
So
See,
far.
we've been talking. God, I want that
Like
so bad.
GTFO, that's a good multiplayer horror game. Yeah, we talked about that earlier too. We're really looking for that one. I like the idea, but they're not storyline. See, some people only like single player games and single player experiences in horror because the story scares them. You know, the lore scares them behind the enemy, the villain, whatever. That's what scares them, not the rest of it. So I think in terms of single player, VR is the way to go for horror games. Maybe even multiplayer too, but just in general, horror feels better in VR, I would say, just from playing the few horror experiences I've experienced in VR.
Because it's literally in your face.
Yeah, exactly. When those jump scares come out, bruh, it's right there. Which is crazy because we're getting to a point in VR, and I'm not going to go off on that tangent for too long because we'll fucking go again. But VR, like, have you guys seen any Half-Life Alyx gameplay?
The new one?
Yeah.
Yeah, Node, or, you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know who Node is.
Yeah, they came out with a video because they're doing the self-quarantine thing or whatever.
Yeah.
So Nico was playing the VR version of it while three people was watching them. It looked really good. It was really good.
Yeah.
They didn't play the whole thing, so I mean you didn't get to watch the whole thing.
Wait. Go on.
Huh?
No, that was me.
Yeah, Wally.
Oh no, I was just making fun of Taylor. Because he always goes.
Yeah, he does. He does go often before he talks.
I don't know why.
It's okay. But Half-Life Alyx is crazy, and that new Walking Dead VR game is crazy because we're getting a lot more AAA developers that are getting into it, and it's crazy because now, like, they throw like the gun and stuff to you on Half-Life Alyx when you first get it and everything. At first, the gun hits a window thing behind you and breaks it. So it's just supposed to be funny. But then you can catch the actual clip that he throws for the gun. And he throws it to you depending on where you're standing. And then you can mess with so many of the items around you. The enemies actually focus on you wherever you're moving. And look at you and react to you wherever you're moving. And I think that's crazy that we're getting to a point to where now they're making all these VR games so interactive to the point, and I think that's the best way to evolve for horror, is make, like, if I walk to this corner and it initiates a jump scare, a scene cuts in, the enemy pops out behind like a 2D little spawn type thing, they pop out, there's the jump scare, we interact. And if you're really ballsy with it, you can sit there and like look around the wall, and you can see that they weren't there, and then when you move a little bit, they're there, and they pop out.
Yeah.
If you do it so good to the point like these AAA developers are doing with Half-Life Alyx and stuff like that, it seems like they're getting better at initiating stuff like that. So if you start to look around the wall, the character reacts to you, jumps out of the wall at whatever angle you're looking at, and that scares you. And so instead of a certain movement, like certain area initiating the cutscene to scare you, now it's your vision and stuff like that, and where you're placed that initiates the cutscene. And like, can you see this corner from where you're standing, or are you next to the corner? Because if you're next to the corner, they can initiate the jump scare later. You know.
Yeah.
So.
I feel like it'd be a lot better if it was more randomized.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
that too.
if you watch someone play it, then all of a sudden you're like, oh,
yeah.
that seems like a pretty good game. Then you go to play it, then all of a sudden you walk through, it doesn't happen. You're like, what? Wait a minute.
Yeah. Exactly.
And then now you're panicking because it didn't happen to you, and now it's like any second.
Kind of like a roguelike horror game where like roguelikes drop you into this thing that's usually procedurally generated in some way. Everything's randomized from different playthroughs because they want to exaggerate replayability. Well, if they did that with horror games, that'd make it real replayable, because then when you walk around this corner, you might not get scared. But then when you walk down the hallway, they might jump out of that fucking door instead and scare the hell out of you. Or they might come up behind you.
Make it better.
Yeah, they should definitely add an RNG to the jump scares and stuff. My youngest plays that game with Jason and Freddy and such, or that one where you're in the school. I think a co-op storyline would be the best way to go. Yeah.
Dead by Daylight.
Yeah, I know
that one's probably Friday the 13th, but
yeah, I know the school one you're talking about too.
Me and Tay tried playing that one time, I think, didn't we?
Which one?
It's kind of like Dead by Daylight, but you got a bunch of stuff.
You cut out. What do you say?
It's kind of like Dead by Daylight, but you're in the school, and you got to find the objects and stuff. I think I know me and you played. I think me and Taylor played.
Achievement Hunter has played it, so if Taylor hasn't played it, I'm sure he's seen it. Funhouse has played it as well. Co-op storylines, that would be, yeah, if they took the single player narrative and style of video games and threw it into co-op, not necessarily multiplayer where you're all playing to, beat an enemy who's playing as the bad guy, but you're working together to try to escape something. But story related, not just like a match. You jump in a match together and you escape the enemy and you queue up for another one. Instead, make it like a 3-4 hour
I love
co-op.
Co-op story modes are like some of my favorite things to play.
Yeah, that would be a good way for multiplayer horror to evolve toward, if they wanted to survive as well. Not me and you. Just all right, Last Year of the Nightmare. Yeah, I think that is it.
Yeah.
The horror school game. All right. Well, thank you guys in the chat for hitting us up and buying us some time, stalling us some time here. But yeah, so thank you guys for watching. For those of you that came by, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode here. I'm Zenith Darksky. You can catch me on Prima Games every Saturday after this Saturday. Hopefully every Saturday. That's still not a guaranteed thing. The first one's going to be kind of a test to see if it's semi-successful and, what it does. But you can catch me on more porn shit. They want a porn episode, boys. They've decided.
Oh, no.
Next week, porn. No.
The porn episode.
Next week on What's Wrong, Step Bro?
God damn it. Thank you guys, though, for watching. Love the stream. We love your streams. Hey, thank you.
I'm stuck in the dryer.
Yeah. So if you guys... I should be the guest.
No, you ain't allowed to be in there. No.
If you guys want to catch me, you guys can catch me every weekday here on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Zenith Darksky, and on my YouTube as well, Zenith Darksky. Remember to go over there and give me a follow or a sub or whatever you want to do to show your support. and I stream from every day 4 p.m. Central Standard Time to like 9 or 10ish, depending on if I have videos to edit. Sometimes later than that if the wife works late and I got nothing to do. I also have a new merch. You can go to teespring.com/stores/darksky hyphen dash whatever you want to call it merch, and get you some Zenith Darksky merch. Eventually I want to do some merch for the podcast and stuff as well, but my first collection is just something for me. I did it so that you guys know. Also, you can catch me on Twitter or any social media, Zenith Darksky. You guys can catch him on any social medias, Zenith Darksky on there as well, and some wild variation of Zenith Darksky. Bearded Moors has started streaming a little bit more recently, but now he might not again. The mysterious case of Bearded is an adventure. Do you have any idea of when you might make your true return to Twitch?
No.
No?
I have no clue.
Well, you can follow him on Twitter at Bearded Moors, and also on his Twitch is Bearded Moors. Bearded, M-O-R-S, and Moors is capitalized. It means bearded death. And then we also have Synphis over there too. You can catch him on Twitch and YouTube. No socials, I still don't think.
Nope.
But you can catch him on Twitch and YouTube. CENFUSS. He's been streaming like every day pretty much, so you can catch him as well.
I'll be streaming right after this.
Oh yeah, there you go. Plays a lot of Rocket League. Plays a lot of FPS games. He's really into FPS games. But yeah, so you can catch us at all those things separately, or I guess it's going to be Friday from here on, the podcast, because if the Saturday thing keeps going with Prima Games over there, then you guys can catch me on Saturdays over on the Prima Games Twitch channel, and maybe eventually on their website for the podcast. We don't know yet. But anyways, so yeah. Thank you guys again, and we'll see you guys. We'll see you guys next week for another episode of the Darksky Gaming Podcast.
Peace.
God damn it. All right. For those of you in the chat, we're not quite done yet. I'm going to sit here and berate these two for about 10 minutes, and then, no, I'm kidding. I don't have anything there.
He's going to get onto it for posting a lot of shit.
God damn it. No, I don't care about that. Countries are... Oh. God damn it. I don't want to talk to you now. Oh, okay, Warden. For those of you that are new to the channel, like Thick Thighs, thank you for the follow, by the way. For those of you new to my podcast and stuff, our podcast here, we don't always reply to every single thing we see in the chat. If it's related to what we're talking about or important or something, then yeah, I'll bring it up. Or when we get to the part of the podcast where it's thick, you uncultured swine. My bad. But yeah, if you tune in and you feel like I'm not paying attention to you, I see your message. We just don't. We don't reply to everything in the chat. It's a show. It's a live recording of our podcast. Anything we say or do on here, unless it's real bad,